When you do root cause analysis, do you always discover functionalities missed in testing? Or something was put into production only to discover it could have been identified earlier in the process? Hi, I'm Peter Nichol, Data Science CIO. Today we're going to talk about shifting left, shifting right, and shifting reverse theories. All right, I made up the shifting in reverse, but shifting left and shifting right are real things. Shifting left is a concept that was recently introduced in the last 10 or so years, but it goes back to the 1950s. It goes back to when IBM introduced the Mark I supercomputer, and this was in today's dollars, it was about $5.7 million computer. It weighed 9,445 pounds. It had 500 miles of wires, 3 million connectors, and 3,500 contacts. Extremely complicated computer and took years to build. The result was compute time was very expensive. And when developers made a mistake and they had to rerun their code, that rerunning was very costly. And the concept of shifting left is to move testing earlier in the process to decrease risk. The three major benefits, of course, are we're able to identify things earlier in the life cycle. And this leads us to our second benefit, which is when we test earlier, we reduce the cost of remediation and fixing defects. And third, we're able to, because we can reduce the life cycle, we can get functionality into production much more effectively and quicker. So this leads us to our shifting right. Obviously, shifting left and testing earlier in the process is just common sense. But when we look at shifting right, why is there an effort to shift right? The idea with shifting right is that once things go into production, nothing additional is tested. It's just forgotten. It's assumed it works. But do we want our business partners and customers finding defects and problems with production? Hell no. We want to fix them proactively before our business partners identify those problems. And this is where shift right comes into play. I'll explain three concepts of shift right really quickly. One is A and B testing. And this concept is about looking at the original designs, original requirements, and making sure that they're working in production. Second is the idea of dark launching, or slowly releasing functionality into production while not really announcing it officially or overtly. LinkedIn is very well known for this with some of their influencer functions, which just show up on your page and they become available. And you can either leverage them or not, but they're not released to all members. And third is the idea of making sure that we have chaos testing involved. And chaos testing involves stress testing or injecting other types of errors or defects into the mix before they truly are there. So we might throw some errors or inject something that is atypical or run some edge scenarios and try to catch something that doesn't work effectively or that we didn't handle effectively. So as you jump into the week, start to think about, are you really leveraging a shift left methodology? Are you testing as early in that life cycle as possible? And then secondarily, are you shifting right? Do you have controls in place to test and retest once functionality makes its way into production? Save your users the stress of finding their own defects and help find them for them. Hi, I'm Peter Nichol, Data Science CIO. Have a great week.